Somebody call the ambulance. Somebody go buy some diapers from Winn-Dixie. I think they're on sale. Get some of that Vaseline and rub it on those chapped asses out there. All those crybabies wanting Cincinnati in the playoff. I think they're going to rash up. Better get them some Vaseline quick. Let's discuss it. Well. How's it going out there today, boys and girls in sport land? I'm JPC. I am the outlaw of college football. And this is the home of the Common Joe and Common Selling in the Know, even more so than all those media talking heads. Now, getting right to it, class. As you know, the football poll came out. Made a little quick video about that from my car. The other day, addressed that a little bit, but things have sort of taken a turn for a controversial worse for a lot of these people out here that have basically lost their bowels and wet their diapers over the fact that the Bearcats of Cincinnati are not in the top four is the main thing. But the thing is, they seem to be wanting to just target Alabama and all this. When Alabama is not your problem. The problem is Cincinnati's not going to get in the playoff with that schedule they got. And if Alabama or Georgia or anybody in any Power 5 conference played the schedule that Cincinnati plays, they wouldn't be in either. And let's do a flip side of that. If Cincinnati were to play the schedule that Georgia has played, think Cincinnati would be undefeated right now? Let's be honest now. Y'all put your biased SEC hatred aside and honestly tell me that Cincinnati would be undefeated with Georgia's schedule, or even Alabama's schedule, or even Ole Miss's schedule. The answer is no. You guys know it and I know it. Not only one loss, they probably would have caught 2 or 3 losses had they had Georgia or Alabama schedule. So, you have Aaron Torres getting on here, Joel Klatt, and amongst others, and other podcast people out there getting on here and taking the target and putting it squarely on Alabama. And that's because Alabama has won so many national championships. But it's backwards and hypocritical for you to just target Alabama when you got Oregon and Ohio State also with one loss that are ahead of Cincinnati and Oklahoma and Wake Forest, among other teams that are undefeated. But y'all target Alabama. Aaron Torres' argument is, well, yeah, you're supposed to play a good schedule, and I can understand that, but playing every week and winning every week should count too, or it should count more, actually is what he said. But the schedule should matter, but for Cincinnati, it really shouldn't matter. Well, Aaron, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth, man. Make your damn mind up, man. Either the strength of schedule matters or it doesn't. Basically, Aaron is just saying that I want Cincinnati in, and I'm going to make up some shit. And I'm just going to say it and hope it sticks against the wall, because all these people that listen to me, lots of them, are not going to question me because they think I'm some kind of great media personality that knows what I'm talking about. When in all actuality, these media personalities don't know shit. They've been fed stuff with a spoon like a baby in their diaper. So, either it matters or it don't, Aaron. And same thing with Joel Klatt, man. Same thing. Either it matters or it don't, Joel. And then Joel, he blatantly told a lie on one of his podcasts that Alabama only played 1 ranked team. Alabama's played 3 ranked teams, Joel. From now on, do your research, brother, before you get on here running your cocksucker. Because all this crap that y'all are saying is not true. And I'm one of the most unbiased Alabama fans you'll ever meet. You can ask anybody. I've taken shots at Nick Saban. I've taken shots at Greg McElroy and Jay Barker and all those great Alabama personalities that everybody holds on a pedestal up here. Even when they're wrong, they're still on a pedestal. But that's not me. I'm not the biased Alabama fan. But you guys are out there going over the top. And I'm not going to be one of those people like Greg McElroy who's going to be unbiased to a point where it's transparently apparent that he's trying too hard and that he's basically lying about what he says. Okay? Because if my team is doing something right and the majority of people just want to take a target and put it on their back and take shots at them just because, then I'm going to have to take up for them because they're actually in the right. It doesn't matter that they're my team. And what matters is what's right and wrong here. And what's wrong in this situation is you people out there have wanted for so long for it to be about the best 4 teams, and that's what it's about. You can't sit here and tell me with a straight face that you think that Alabama is worse than 4th place, because they're not. I would have had Alabama number 2. I said that in the podcast with my podcast partner and my producer, Jonathan Lewis, and Enough Said Sports with Aaron. I would have had Alabama 4th. But they deserve to be in right now because from the eye test and how they've played, they deserve it. They had that loss against Texas A&M when they were unranked. That is true. But Cincinnati has struggled with teams. It's a lot worse than Texas A&M. We all know Texas A&M was right outside the top 25 anyway. And right now, they haven't lost since. Cincinnati's one of their marquee wins supposedly was supposed to be Indiana, and Indiana's tanked. They beat Notre Dame. And another thing, I think it was Aaron Torres that said, Notre Dame is a great team that they beat, and they're one of the best one-loss teams. Are you serious about that? Are you serious about Notre Dame is one of the best one-loss teams out there? Yeah, by rankings, they may be one of the best. But if you look at the body of work, they're not. Who's Notre Dame blew out? Notre Dame struggled with everybody they played, man. They struggled with Toledo. Toledo, I think. It was Toledo, I think. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was one of those MAC teams they struggled with, and they were losing to at one time. So, please stop with, Cincinnati played a great Notre Dame team, because that's bullshit. And we all know it. I wouldn't be surprised if Notre Dame loses a game to one of these middle-of-the-road teams, like USC or Stanford. It would not surprise me at all if Notre Dame were to lose. If Notre Dame loses, Cincinnati's done. I don't care if they win the rest of their games by 40 every game. They're done. They better hope Notre Dame does continue to win, because if they don't, the argument's over. At least from a standpoint of people that actually know college football, the argument is done. Unless you're just agenda-driven to the point where you hate the SEC so much that you're willing to just tell a blatant lie about the facts. And the facts say, Alabama hasn't been doing it on the field like Cincinnati. That's an opinionated statement. But Alabama has been doing it on the field. And in a factual sense, they've won 6 out of 12 national championships. So how are you going to sit here and tell me that they don't deserve that respect they're getting? Has Cincinnati won a national championship in football ever? No. Has even Georgia? Georgia ain't won a national championship since the 1980s. So I don't get how you guys can expect us to respect your opinions and to look at you in the eyes and think that you actually believe what you're saying. Because we all know that all this hubbubloo about Cincinnati is horse shit. Cincinnati almost beat Georgia last year. Y'all do realize that Georgia had about 8 or 9 players set out that game, right? Yeah. 8 or 9 players set out that game because that's what players do now. That's why we got to go to the 12-team playoffs, so you won't have so many players sitting out. And they still, guess what they did? They still beat Cincinnati down 8 players. So you tell me, if Cincinnati can't beat a Georgia team that's handcuffed 8 times over, how are they going to win a national championship playoff game that people are actually going to take serious? They may end up getting in the top 4. A lot of teams might lose below them and above them, and they may get in there. You may get your wish. I'm one of those people that root for the underdog, but not if it's going to be the wrong team in there. So if Cincinnati gets in the top 4 and they play Georgia, what do y'all think is going to happen? Georgia already probably has an axe to grind with them because they feel a little embarrassed by almost losing to them last year. What do you think Georgia's going to do to Cincinnati? Y'all be honest now. Georgia would embarrass them. They would embarrass them on a national stage to the point where it might actually hurt their recruiting and their chances of ever being a factor in the Big 12 when they join the Big 12 in the next coming year or two. Be honest. That's all I'm asking. Y'all be honest with yourselves and quit with the obvious hatred. Judge a team by their success. Judge a team by who's the best. Who's the best? That's all we want is the best. Not the rest, just the best. And that's all I got to say about that. You guys and gals tell me what you think about this subject. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams.